listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Welcome. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the original people home, or is the home for original people and original people culture and original people peace, original people reciprocity. And I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast promotes positive self-images of original people and original people culture. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. I took a brief little hiatus. Been gone for a little while. So all my narrators been asking me that I have not responded to since I've been gone. No, I did not give up podcasting. Obviously not. I'm here. I just really fell back because I didn't really feel, there was a whole bunch of poignant, relevant things to talk about, and because just, I needed a break. And, when you're doing this type of work, what you don't ever want to do is, broadcast when you just don't feel like doing it, because it'll translate through your broadcast. You'll have that energy. The listeners will hear it in your voice that you really don't want to do it anyway. So, I want to stay consistent and stay passionate about my brand. This is not to sound cliche, but it's a labor of love. Yes, I'm a podcaster, so yes, I am getting what I'm supposed to be getting. But at the same time, this platform is designed for the people, and, the work for the people is never done. So for those that that are unfamiliar with me and my platform, I'm going to bring you up to speed about the Narrative Podcast and my format before diving into the content this evening. My regular listeners, my narrators, they already know the demonstration. They already know, about me and my platform and my content. So I just give a brief synopsis for new listeners unfamiliar with me and my platform before diving into the content on each episode. I broadcast 2 times a week, once during the weekday and once during the weekend. And, the format for the weekend is slightly different from the weekday format, but I'll brief you more about that a little bit later. But so I just wanted to be cordial with my audience before diving into the content. Missed you guys. A lot going on in these social media streets. Diddy, like it's buzzing. So spoiler alert. I will be discussing our brother's unfortuitous dilemma as it pertains to us, our people, original people, a little later on in the segment, along with some other things. But so outside of that, life been lifing, and the world has consistently kept turning. So I stopped, but the world didn't. And so, like I said, I didn't fall off. I didn't, lose resources or nothing like that. I just took a step back, took a little breather. No biggie. But yeah, we're going to keep this rock rolling here on the Narrative Podcast. Staying true to what we do. So now that I've gotten interpersonal with my listening audience, I'm going to dive right on into the content here today on the Narrative Podcast. My bad. On into my walkthrough of the Narrative Podcast before diving into the content this evening. So I'm just going to get all my new listeners acquainted with me and my platform. All the nuances, what to expect this evening as far as content is concerned, and what the Narrative Podcast stands for, what I'm all about, and what I'm doing here in this digital space. So let's start at the top. Tippy, the name, the Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original people culture. So what I want to do to counter that is design a platform where I'm playing up my people's strengths and highlighting and showcasing us at our best, and celebrating all our accomplishments, all of our excellence, and everything that makes us us here on the Narrative Podcast. Because the media, they intentionally vilify our people, push agendas, and play up negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and within our culture. So, the purpose of the Narrative Podcast is to correct that oversight. And having said that, I think that's a perfect segue for my tagline. The Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original people culture. How do I destroy these negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Hence the title, The Narrative Podcast. So yeah, that's entirely what the Narrative Podcast is about, to bring awareness to the listening audience, especially my people, original people, why it's important to share positive, responsibly use our platforms to share information about our people and our culture, to bring awareness to that fact, and to, endorse and promote sharing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Because the media, they only supply the rest of the world with negative frames of reference about our people and our culture. They primarily do it for profits, to make money, of course, first and foremost. But their main goal and objective is, to adhere to the people's agenda that controls the media. And who controls the media? The powers that be. Who are the powers that be? The higher echelon, the elite class, basically wealthy white people. And what is their agenda? Their agenda is to maintain a socioeconomic stronghold over all, the world's financial resources, and to basically make themselves appear superior to everyone who isn't, in the six-figure class or better. Like, so if you're not, first class or at least upper middle class, they want to make you basically look like a low-life degenerate compared to them. And how do they do that? They do that by manipulating the media. They, they want to be the face of sophistication, the face of decorum, the face of dignity, class, and what it means to be wealthy. Like, they want to be the poster representatives of wealth, like what wealth should look like. And what they want wealth to look like is white, wealthy and white. So, financially wealthy and white. So like, that's their agenda, that's their goal, is to, perpetuate this image of, what the true meaning of life is, as far as, living in abundance and, being wealthy. So I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, it's a horrible, wicked agenda. Like I said, they use and manipulate the media against everybody. They want to make everybody who isn't, wealthy and white appear a certain way. They do, like I said, they do it to everybody. They do it to Italians. They do it to, Spanish community. They do it to, Dutch, whoever, that's not elite class. But they especially do it to our people, original people. And the reason why they pick on our people the most is because, out of all the people, they fear our people the most, because they know in their heart of hearts, without us, there would be no them. We created them, everything. They know, they're aware of their past, and they're aware of our past. They know how they acquired their financial wealth, and they're aware of how they came into power, and they're aware of how they maintain their power structure. And our people, we frighten them. Our past frightens them, because they know, they were derived from us. And their biggest fear is that, we'll wake up and smell the coffee and start behaving like we remember our past, like we remember who we are as a people, and unify and reclaim everything they took from us and are currently taking from us, and do to them what they've done and are currently doing to us. But, it's an ill-gotten fear, because that's not who we are as a people. We don't have a history of rape. We don't have a history of pillage. We don't have a history of theft. We don't have a history of changing history. We don't have a history of hiding history. We don't have a history of forcing our beliefs and value systems on other people and forcing them to believe what we believe in. Everywhere they existed, they brought war, pestilence, famine. Everywhere we existed, anywhere in the world, we brought enlightenment, education, love, peace, zeal, spirituality. We just have a history of improving life everywhere we existed. We made life better for everybody that came in contact with us, not made life worse. We don't have a history of setting up systems that isolate and alienate people and divide people, no like forms of government and tyrannical rule. That's not us, So, like I said, that's their horrible, wicked agenda. That's why they single our people out the most out of everybody. So, having said that, I go to my next quip about the Narrative Podcast, which is why I refer to my target listening audience as my narrators. I call my target listening audience my narrators because, we're living in the digital information age. We share information online, and people, basically associate you as an individual based on whatever you're posting online. That's just how we communicate these days. So unless you plan on living off the grid, you need to be online and, have a digital identity. That's just, unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword. People judge you, your value systems, your beliefs, your hobbies, your interests. They judge you as an individual based on, the content that you're posting online. So, said all that to say, your content is, how you tell the world about yourself. So we're living in the digital information age. We're blessed with the unique opportunity to tell or narrate our own stories. So, whatever you post online, that is an introduction to the world about, who you are as a person. Now, how is that as a people? Like, what's that, dynamic? How do we look as a people? Because the rest of the world, they're only given negative frames of reference about our people and our culture. So, if we indulge in these negative stereotypes and stigmas about, what type of content we're posting online, we're, in a sense, stamping this. Like, we want to be represented like this. We want the world to, think we're, pimps and whores and, gangbangers and miscreants and criminals and deviants, and by posting that type of content online on your platforms. But we can change the narrative or tell our own stories in a positive way we can shift that by doing what I do here on the Narrative Podcast, which is sharing stories about family structure, about unity, about excellence, about, triumphing in the face of adversity, defying the odds, beating the odds, helping our brother, helping our sister, helping ourselves, helping our community, caring for our children, caring for our elderly, caring for our community, our environment, the planet, just basically be the antithesis of these negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media propagates about us. So does that make sense why I call my targeted audience my narrators? We can tell our own stories online. That's what I mean when I call my listening audience my narrators. So if you're tuning in, listening right now to the Narrator podcast, you are officially a narrator, and your job as a narrator is to change the narrative by simply, posting positive content online. That's how we shift the narrative. It's not or change the narrative, excuse me. That's my tagline, is change the narrative. But it's not the end all be all solution, but it is a solution. Because while the media harbors an evil, wicked agenda, at the end of the day, it's also a business, and the first rule of business is supply and demand. Businesses, they create products based on the demand that they notice from the intel that they gather, the information and the intel that they gather online. So like I said, this correlates to how our people is portrayed. Businesses are cranking out degeneracy. They're making us the poster people for degeneracy. It's like $1 trillion a year business, and they believe, we're interested in it because we keep on posting and engaging in foolishness online. So in turn, they're going to keep on cranking out foolishness to represent our people. This would explain these negative, television shows, movies, books, magazines, negatively portraying our images and our likenesses. And they was doing that way before the internet. They was doing that way before, television and movies and radio. They was doing that just, with ads on different random products, doing the stereotypical blackface and things of that nature. That's how these corporations operate. Just supply and demand. Next misnomer about the Narrator podcast. On this platform, I refer to our people as original people as opposed to black. Why do I do that? Because I feel, or I actually know, original is a more accurate term to describe our people as a people, because we are so diverse. First and foremost, it's a historically accurate description of us, because we were and are the first people on this planet. We was the original inhabitants of this planet or this plane. For those that don't believe in planets, we was the first people to exist here. And that's a historical fact. It's proven. We was the first people on the planet, and not only that, we was pretty much the first indigenous people. Like, we existed on every single corner of the globe you can think about. And then the sidebar to that, not only did we exist, on every single corner of the globe, we didn't get there, via slave boats. They want to keep on pushing this false narrative that, the history of our people began with slavery. And that's just not a fact. While slavery was a part of our existence, played a very significant role for our people, our involvement in it, in the slave trade, how many years it took place, is just totally inaccurate. No facts behind it. They also want to perpetuate this false narrative that every single last one of us came to all these different corners of the globe on slave boats, especially for those of us here in America. Like, the majority of us was already here in all parts of America, and especially like here in Mesoamerica as well. Like, we was already here, but they want to keep on perpetuating this myth that they just, for hundreds of years, going on a boat, forcefully taking people from one corner of the globe to the other corner of the globe. There was doing horrible, unspeakable acts. True indeed, slavery was real. It did happen, but the time frame, how long it actually, far as them going to Africa, getting slaves and bringing them to different ports and selling them into slavery, is just inaccurate. So like I said, the majority of us already inhabited every corner of the globe, and yes, we did come from Africa, but not on slave boats. On our own free will, we just, went there from there, and, different places, all throughout the world, all throughout Europe, all throughout Asia, all throughout, places like Germany and the UK and Canada and, Australia and Switzerland and all these places where you don't think, our people thrive, or like we just been brainwashed into thinking that's, white people territory. That's always been white people territory. Like Italy, the Mediterranean, like we was already there. So that's on the historical side of it, what I mean when I refer to our people as original people. And then the next reason why I refer to our people as original people as opposed to black, because it unifies us as a people. Because like I said, we inhabited every corner of the globe. We got all these land masses between us, all these different cultural, variations of us, flesh tones, language barriers. Like anything that divided people is used to divide us as a people. It's just so divisive when it comes to our people. But, the one thing that we all have in common is that we can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for all civilization. We're original. So no matter what we call ourselves, what we refer to ourselves as, this person like, hey, I'm Nigerian, I'm Trini, I'm from Jamaica, I'm this, I'm that, you know what I mean? At the end of it, we all original, we all original. So, we can argue about who should get the reparations later, but, let's not skip over that part. Say that part, that we are all original. So that's just it. That's why I refer to our people as original people here on the Narrative Podcast. You can refer to yourself as whatever you would like to refer to yourself as. You can call yourself black if you're comfortable calling yourself black. You can call yourself an African American. You can call yourself, Negro if you want to, or, nigga if you want to. If you want to. Like, I'm not telling people what they should and shouldn't do. I'm just telling you what I do and why I do it. So on the Narrative Podcast, I refer to our people as original people, as opposed to black. Next order business here on the Narrative Podcast, just some misnomers about it. What it is not. This is not a platform where I'm seeking validation from people outside of our culture. I'm not even trying to educate or enlighten people outside of our culture about our people and our culture. What this platform is designed to do is to uplift and edify our people, and tell our stories correctly. Tell it from the perspective of who we truly are as a people. And who are we truly as a people? We are kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe. And so that's the perspective or the narrative that I'm always pushing here on this platform. Tell that part of it. Next, this is a time-sensitive platform. I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast. I basically try to keep it short, simple, and to the point. And the reason why I did that is, like, when I first started podcasting, I had no clue what I wanted to talk about. How I'm still trying to find my, lane in this podcast thing, but I got a regular listening audience. So I guess I'm kind of, versed in it, but for all intents and purposes, this is an all audio platform, and I don't want to bore my listening audience to sleep. When I first started podcasting, I just used to talk and talk and talk. I didn't really have a clue what I wanted to talk about, what type of subject matter that I wanted to promote on here. And then after I figured out what I want to do, I figured, the best way to build an audience and keep my audience attentive is to not bore them to sleep. And sure enough, the quickest way to bore somebody to sleep and, turn somebody off is just to drone on and talk for hours. So what I do is I just keep my content fresh and relevant and digestible, easy to keep up with. You don't have to clear your entire schedule. I'm not talking way above your head, and I'm also not dumbing myself down, but I am making my content relatable and applicable and cohesive. So, the benefit of, keeping a short broadcast time is I can touch on a whole lot of subjects and, have speaking points for each subject I want to talk on. This will allow me to connect better with my audience. And I'm not just droning on and boring you to sleep and making you lose interest and causing you to drift while I'm speaking. Because there's so much stuff, the internet to distract you. Because, everybody in media, they know it's you're only going to watch the first 10 or 20 minutes or something. Like in a live, when people are doing live broadcasts, you will listen to the first 10, 15, and then you'll go back, and then just wait for the episode to re-air, because you don't want to sit through the whole thing and So there's an exception to every rule. If somebody like really super duper exciting, you want to not miss one thing that they're saying, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm getting there, but so I know my lane and I'm staying in my lane, and that's how I keep my audience enthralled and attentive. Is just keep it short and sweet. Next, the Narrator podcast is a positive space. I don't promote gossip. I don't do, bashing or slandering of any kind when it comes to our people. I do, however, tell the truth on here on my podcast. So I do a lot of commentaries on whatever is happening, in current media, whether it's globally, whether it's nationally, or something like that impacts something like right out of our community, something, that's trending in the news, happening within our community. And the purpose of me doing that is just to basically accurately tell our story. Because the media go out of their way to have us looking and sounding crazy. As the old saying goes, if you don't tell your story, you will have your story told for you. And that's precisely what the media is doing. They're telling our story for us. So anytime I'm doing commentary, don't think of it as like I'm trying to name drop or trying to insert myself in a hot trending topic so I can garner like clicks and views and CPMs and all that. I'm a podcaster. Yes, I do want them. Yes, it is essential that I get them, to keep my platform running. But at the same time, that's not, what motivates me. What motivates me is, our people, feeling good about themselves, being dignified, maintaining their dignity, utilizing their platforms responsibly, not, getting messy online and promoting slander and gossip and hatred about their own people. So that's what the Narrative podcast is not about. I don't do that. So when I'm delivering my content, I'm just I'm unpacking it from the perspective of why. Why did this happen? So if I bring up a famous person's name, I'm always coming from the perspective of, yes, we have our in-house issues. Yes, we have things we need to work on as a people. But at the same time, I just feel like, the go-to cliche answer anytime something negative happens within our community, the go-to thing is we need to do better, like all the time. We need to do better. The people that has had everything taken from them and everything done to them and programmed and conditioned to do things to each other, we need to do better. So, that's all I try to do here on the Narrative podcast is, tell the listening audience whatever's going on in the world or within our community, from our perspective, what that means for our community as a people. So if I say a famous person's name, it's not clout chase or, insert myself into the conversation. This is just breaking it down for my people and, trying to basically make sense of, whatever happened. And sometimes, many times I don't know why it happened. Like I don't have a solution or, I'm just like the rest of the world. But, but for the most part, I put it into perspective of why did that happen, and, like it's a setup from the get up type perspective, But other than that, this is a positive space. I don't promote negativity, gossip, slander, and, I try to uplift and edify our people here on the Narrator Podcast, and I encourage all my listeners to do the same. So if I missed anything, I'm a little over 100 or 300 episodes in, so you can go through my episode log and bring yourself up to speed about all the nuances of the Narrator Podcast. And speaking of previous episodes, download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast wherever you get your podcast information from. Remember to listen to the episodes, like them, download them, and share them. And you can comment on the Narrator Podcast episodes as well. Each episode has a little comment box in there, so you can comment on them too. Have a little heart button, click the like button. You know how it is, you know how the algorithm works. So, without any further ado, diving into the weekday edition here on the Narrator Podcast. Now, my weekday edition format is slightly different from my weekend edition. The weekday edition used to be my live episodes. I used to broadcast live during the weekdays, primarily because I didn't know, during the weekdays when I'm gonna have free time to do an episode of the Narrator Podcast. When I first started podcasting, I did it exclusively on the weekends. And then when I, started picking up momentum and started getting more listeners, I said, well, let me start trying to take a crack at the weekdays as well. And so basically the weekday edition is like, like a drive time radio show. Like, I'm just trying to get you through the day or the evening or whatever time that I'm broadcasting, giving you factoids. The format for my weekday episode varies because I'm just really focusing on the mission statement of my podcast, which is to provide the listening audience with positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And the positive frames of reference that I provide the listening audience on a weekday episode of the Narrator Podcast is news articles that I come across, positive news articles that I come across in, my various social media feeds. And the reason why I do that is because we're constantly being bombarded with negative news about our people in our culture. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we never catch a break from the negativity. The powers that be want to program and condition us to believe that, nothing positive happens within our community. We don't have, any people that, beat the odds, triumph in the face of adversity, care about our community, care about, our children, our elderly, the planet, the environment, God, higher power, what have you. This is, like I said, it's programming and conditioning. They want to program and condition us to have low self-esteem and a poor negative self-image of ourselves. And conversely, they also want to project that same, destitute image of us onto people outside of our culture so that they can create more division by programming and conditioning them to, respond to us a certain way, react to us a certain way, and interact with us in a negative way because they want to keep on showing all this negative content about our people and our culture. So that's why I do positive news articles during the weekday. My part to change the narrative by telling, giving real life examples of positive things do happen within our community. There are people within our community doing excellent things and striving, for better life, equality, and, overcoming their environments and triumphing in the face of adversity. So that's why I do the positive news articles. And after the positive news articles, I go into commentary, and I already said why I do the commentary. But without any further ado, I'm diving into the first positive news article of this evening here on the Narrator podcast. The first article of the evening here on the Narrator podcast, the headline reads, Santia Deck makes history as first black woman athlete to own sneaker company. And the name of her sneaker company is Tronus. Tronus is derived from an old Latin word meaning throne. Signed a multi-million-dollar deal with the Women's Football League. The Tronus slogan is, if you want it, go get it. So not only is she started her own company, she has a tremendous following online. She is a social media influencer. She does TED Talks, motivational speaking type engagements. She also mentors people that want to start their own business. Does podcasting. Her online handle is the Queen of Abs, and I seen her abs super defined, almost gravity defying abdominal muscles she got. She's super ripped. And pardon me, I said the name of the product was derived from Old Latin. It was actually derived from Old Greek. So my bad about that. So if you want to find out more about the sneaker, go to tronosofficial.com, and click the About section. She got the complete story of how she started the business, why she started the business, and everything the business does to, help the community. That's a tremendous accomplishment. I usually try to stay away from articles about, athletes and entertainers because I don't want to, reinforce the negative stereotype of all we know how to do is be, entertainers. But, when you do good work, you do good work, and it was definitely noteworthy. So, if you are a female or if you, are a male and have female, relatives and acquaintances definitely go support that brand. Go check her out. Let's join me into giving our sister, Santia Deck, a warm narrative podcast round of applause for her sneaker deal, Tronos. All right. So, next article, also coming out of the entertainment industry. This is about a recording artist, a very famous recording artist who we all know and, love as a recording artist, extremely talented, gifted pianist, actress. She wears a whole lot of hats. We knew she was destined for great things when we saw her, make her television debut on a well-known sitcom that is iconic within our culture, The Cosby Show. And I'm speaking about none other than, Grammy award-winning, multi-talented recording artist, pianist, Miss Alicia Keys. So the headline in the article reads, Alicia Keys launches $1 billion fund for black-owned businesses. The article didn't say what the fund was called. I researched. It didn't actually, I couldn't come up with what the name of the fund is called. But it says she teamed up with the NFL to support black-owned businesses and communities. Also in the article, she was quoted as saying, "We are seeing blatant injustices all around us. As an artist, I'm always thinking about how I can use my platform to further racial equity." So yeah, not only that, she plans to expand her work. She's going to team up with other entities outside of the NFL. Obviously, probably she's going to try to team up with, the NBA at some point and other people that she knows in the, entertainment industry that has the capital or the connections to, build institutions for our people, to, get them land, make them become homeowners, business owners, basically just getting our slice that we're supposed to have. So yeah, she's always doing something positive for the community. Never really heard anything negative coming from to her about Alicia Keys. She just, she's extremely passionate about her art form, but she's also passionate about her people, and it shows because she keeps on showing up, doing the work, and we're fortunate to have someone like that within our community that cares so much about our community. So go check out her latest recording project called The Perfect Way to Die. This is a song that addresses police brutality. And of course, a portion of the proceeds that she's going to get from that song is going to go to some, charity that she's involved in, and she's involved in like every single charity you can think of. So definitely go support that sister. join me into giving our sister Alicia Keys a warm narrative podcast round of applause for her $1 billion fund for Black-owned businesses. And I think I forgot to hit the applause button for our sister Santina Deck, so make that right now. All right, next order of business. Next article, the headline reads, Black woman provides free mobile showers and other hygiene services to the homeless in the DMV. And the name of the business is called April Showers. And you can follow her story on IG at April_showers. And the proprietor of this nonprofit / business is a former military officer. She's a retired veteran for the Army. A sister by the name of Bernadette Fobbs. Bernadette Fobbs was inspired to do this particular service by her grandmother. Her grandmother was a Christian woman. She was always doing philanthropy within the community. She grew up witnessing her grandmother not having much, but the little that she had, she always was trying to help other people with little means she had, feeding people, taking people into her own home, finding work for people, giving people money. So she wanted to carry on that tradition of just, trying to make the world a better place. Now, this particular service, they help homeless people in general, or, people going through a rough economic patch. But, of course, her target audience is veterans, because she is a retired veteran. So, of course, that is who she caters to first before everybody else is, her outfit. And I believe she was an Army Ranger. The article didn't really say, it just, had a picture of her in fatigues. But if you want to know more about her business, April Showers, you can call at 210-323-6494 or message her directly at Bernadette Fobbs at aprilshowers.org. And just to something I think I glazed over, April isn't spelled like the traditional month. It isn't spelled April. Yes, it isn't spelled April. It's spelled Apryl. I don't know why it's spelled Apryl, but it's spelled Apryl. So when you go online, make sure you type in April, Apryl, showers.org. So message her directly at Bernadette Fobbs at aprilshowers.org. The physical address is 6710 Laurel Bowie Road, 2222 Bowie, Maryland, 20718. And if you want to donate, they take all major credit cards, Visa card, MasterCard, PayPal, and then you can also send donations to her Cash App, April Showers LLC. Now, ironically, her Cash App, no, my bad, it's spelled APRYL. Okay, I'm about to say it was spelled traditionally, but no, it isn't. It's APRYL. So when you're going online, typing it in, make sure you're spelling it APRYL, not APRIL. So yeah, join me into giving this sister a warm narrative podcast. Round of applause for her witty, unselfish, innovative nonprofit that's helping people. She not only provides, shower services, mobile. So what they are, I think I got too excited. So what it actually is, it's a mobile shower company. So it's like a trailer. They got shower stalls in it. And then not only, showers, of course, she provides the people to use them with soap and toiletries. So like soap and shampoo and conditioner, as well as, of course, towel and wash rag or, our people, we use wash rags. So yeah, shower shoes, what are they called? Loofahs, all that. Puffs, the little shower puffs. But get you fresh and smelling good. That's the motivation behind that. She also gives them other toiletries as well, like toilet paper, toothpaste, lotion, toilet paper, and then, the portable wipes. So the portable sanitation wipes, like the wet wipes. And then also for the fellas, cologne, for the ladies, perfume, deodorant, mouthwash, hair grooming products, grease, pomade, whatever, mousse and all that. So basically, just because they're disenfranchised, everybody wants to feel good about themselves. And this is a really innovative idea to me. It has so much potential because she can expand it to corporate America, because they always want their, people to work 10 and 12 hour shifts, especially like QSRs. So can you imagine, people working in the service industry, and that's the big part of the service industry, why they're constantly firing people, because some people are coming to work not fresh. So just imagine if you got a mobile shower facility, like between your shift, you can go get fresh, take a whole shower, then come back, do your shift at like a QSR or at an office building. If you're doing corporate America, like you're doing retail sales, or corporate America working in the office, you can right before a big meeting, go take a shower right in the office building for that added confidence. Like if you're trying to close a deal, to make yourself more personable around your co-workers, because that's the absolute worst, when they got to let somebody go because of hygiene. But that's just me seeing the potential for that beyond just helping the disenfranchised, the homeless. That service, everybody could use that. They can use the mobile showers for school children, because a lot of school children, they come to school and they don't have proper means, and they get bullied and they commit suicide because they're coming to school and their hygiene ain't on point, and the kids are cruel. They're classmates is ridiculing them because of the way they smell, and that would cut down on that. I mean, just the potential's there to expand beyond just for, the homeless people. Like, that's all my point I'm trying to make. That can work in like every type of industry you can think of. It can work on definitely like construction and labor. You're digging trenches, you're welding, doing construction. You would need a mobile shower, like on your lunch break. Hospitality industry, you're a chef, you're in the kitchen, you want to freshen up, go out and talk to the customers, and you know what I mean? But yeah, innovative, very innovative. She got a LinkedIn page too. That tells all her other, nonprofit organizations she's into. But definitely go, if you're in the DMV area, go to aprilshowers.org and see how you can help with that movement. And once again, the sister's name is Bernadette Fobbs, retired ex-military veteran. Salute. Join me in giving our sister Bernadette Fobbs and April Showers a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause. All right, next article. It didn't really say anything. Sometimes these articles, the headline is the article, and this is one of this time it literally just like it's a headline and there's no more substance after that. There's no backstory off of it. So I'm going to just read the headline. Dawn Stanley makes history as the highest paid black female basketball coach with $22.4 million contract. And that's it. There's nothing else. That's just the headline. So join me into giving our sister Dawn Stanley Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for getting that bag. All right. Next, here on the Narrative Podcast, the next headline reads, NACCP recognizes black teacher whose phonics workbooks improve reading skills in 30 days or less. And the sister's name is Rosa Higgs. Rosa Higgs is an educator in Hunts Point, San Francisco, California. She's recognized by the Berkeley branch of the NACCP for her 30 years of service volunteering in San Francisco. She teaches students to read beyond grade level in 40 hours or less. And if you want to know more about her program, simply go over to reading40.com and you will see the whole curriculum for her workbooks, her teaching method, and how she gets students comfortable with reading. If you want to ask direct questions for press-related inquiries, you can call her at 510-929-5137 or email her directly at info@readin40.com. So let's give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for our sister, Miss Rosa Higgs, and her phonics workbooks. Reading in 40. All right, y'all, moving right along. I believe this is my last article of the evening. Let me see. Yes, this is my last article of this evening. The headline reads, 2 14-year-old friends started a clothing brand with $120. They now built a multi-million-dollar brand and have sold 600,000 tees. And the two brothers' names are Michael Clark and Marlon Watts of New Orleans, Louisiana. And the name of their brand is World Envision, and it's spelled in shorthand. So it's, like we do everything on the internet, it's everything shorthand, like, LOL, laugh out loud, ROLF, rolling on the floor laughing. It's spelled like that. So it's WRLDINBSN in all caps, and it stands for World Envision. And if you want to know more about it, go to www.worldivnsn.com. So they started out basically, there was youngins in Louisiana, New Orleans, a rags to riches story, 14 years old. They both came from impoverished households, but was big in Louisiana. People like looking fresh, and they like arts. Louisiana is very artistic. There's all kinds of brightly colored murals and statues, and if you've been to Louisiana, you know about the the decor in Louisiana. It's just like no other place in the United States. To no avail. So they was 14 when they first started their own business. I'm giving you guys just a streamlined version. Their whole story is on their website. They what basically was in they got into a program, an art design program in school when they was 14. And they would just they met up. They would brainstorm ideas off each other, far as designing graphic tees. They would sell their graphic tees, no equipment. They're just young 14-year-olds scrimping and scraping, probably getting their t-shirts from the dollar store, either the Family Dollar or General Dollar for their t-shirts, and just printing stuff on them printing their designs on them at the mall and selling them through the streets, just doing pop-ups. They started in 2010. So the internet wasn't really popping like that as far as social media. I think in 2010, like Facebook was just emerging. Facebook was just popping. I think in 2010, Twitter was just popping. I don't think we had Instagram yet in 2010. So like the bulk of their sales were just word of mouth. They was basically like, what the Water Boys is to New York City, like, the young men that run up on the cars selling bottles of water. That's what they was doing in Louisiana, running up on cars, selling their t-shirts, standing, on on a medium on a highway with the sign and the t-shirts, and cars would stop. Then eventually they graduated and they started, refining their sales techniques, and it was just like the business is just all trial and error. You got to remember they was only 14 years old when they started doing it. Both of them are now, of course, grown men, and it's just culminated knowledge, just things they've picked up along the way. They didn't have any mentors. There wasn't nobody schooling them on how to do it. They just knew that they had to get out of their situation that they was in. Their families was counting on them, and, that's what they used to fuel their hustle. So, without any further ado, give our two brothers, Mr. Nicholas Clark and Mr. Marlon Watts, a warm narrative podcast round of applause for their brand, World in Vision. Go support at worldinvision.com, and remember it's in shorthand, so it's WRLDINVSN in all caps. All right. So my articles is done this evening, and let's get into it with the speaking point. Some things going on around the world. So first and foremost, we had, like I just said this when I took my little hiatus, I think my last upload was like on the first week of March. I think my last upload was like the 10th or the 11th. Here we are on the 29th. But back then, I said, we was heading into another government shutdown because the House couldn't come together on, how the funds were going to be divided. That was way back on the 12th. They was talking about another government shutdown. So now we just evaded the latest government shutdown, which was on the 21st or the 2nd. That was just a few days ago when the bipartisan lawmakers was they was deadlocked on how to divvy up the money for all these other, cabinets and panels that we need money for, like branches of government that need money. So they couldn't get an agreement going on. And quite frankly, which begs the question of, how can we divvy up something we don't have? We're in a $1 trillion deficit. We're $1 trillion in the red, but they're arguing over splitting up something that we don't have. As Dr. Umar would say, isn't that suspicious? Yeah, how are they feuding over something we don't have? When they're telling us, the American taxpayers, the American citizens, constantly, we don't have it. We're in tax season. Everybody got to pay these taxes. They tax your check all year long. Your working check, 20% of that, all year long. And at the end of the fiscal quarter, you got to pay tax on top of tax that they already took out to fund things in your state, like schools and libraries and public transportation and, public, landmarks and stuff, and after school programs and community programs and all this, that, but we don't have it. And then now, on top of us not having money for the things that we should be having money for, we're taking the little money we do have and giving it to migrants. Illegal migrants, immigrants that don't even have their papers yet. Like states all over the nation is sitting up here building hotels, building homeless shelters to house immigrants that haven't even passed their United States citizenship test yet. And then the bulk of them, the majority of them are coming from the Ukraine. European immigrants at that. Make it make sense, because it don't. We sitting up here about to shut down our whole government over something that we don't have anyway. Do I got it messed up? Maybe I got it messed up. Let's run it back. So I'm going to run it back again because maybe I got it messed up. We're $1 trillion in debt to the whole world. We owe the whole world $1 trillion. But our government is arguing on how to divvy up $1 trillion that we don't have to pay people that we owe. Yeah, I'm still confused. Are you confused? I'm confused. So I'm going to move away from that. But like I said, before I took my break, my little hiatus, what you better be doing right now is stocking up on your non-perishable items and getting you an exit strategy. Make the place wherever you're staying at comfortable as possible. Wherever you're residing currently, make that super duper comfy. If you don't plan on leaving the United States or plan on leaving your state of residency or your neighborhood, that you're currently residing in, if you're not planning on leaving those time soon, keep you some food in your house, some non-perishable food items, canned goods, for the meat eaters, potted meats, canned meats, dried, cured meats. Y'all want to keep that. For your vegan, vegetarians, you want, dehydrated fruits and veg, because they're going to keep us inside again. Something's coming. Anytime the government's talking about shut down, they've been talking about shutting down since February. Like every other week in February, government shutdown, imminent. March, like I just said, first week of March, the last government shutdown that was imminent was like March 11th. Now, just recently on the 21st, they was talking about shutdown. They was going to shut down had they not came to a conclusion on the 24th, and it's the 28th. And they're saying we're cool for right now, but it can happen again if we deadlock again. A complete whole government shutdown if they deadlock in April. And that's what's going on around the world. So you heard it here first on the Narrative Podcast. Start getting your non-perishable items. Get your paper stacked up. Get your, passive streams of income. Start working on multiple passive streams of income. Put in the mattress. Put in the stock market. Just make sure you got access to it, whatever you do. Because as the late Betty Davis said, buckle up, we're in for a bumpy ride. And that's all I wanted to touch on about the latest government shutdown debacle. Now, a couple things going on within our community. First topic, I'm going to get to Diddy. I am going to get to Mr. Combs. But first, I want to touch on our sister, Queen B. Touching on her because she is seeming like she's highly stressed out because she's trying to cross over and get acclaim into the world of country music. And I think I spoke briefly on that before I took my little vacation. Things have only went from bad to worse with that. Last time I talked about it, John Schneider had, took to social media and then in a roundabout way called her out of her name, called her a bitch. Connect the dots. He said something along the lines of comparing her to a dog. She's a female, so, say what you want to say. And not only that, basically saying she don't have no business in country, Western music. And for those that don't know, lean in real quick, close. Like this, like if I was doing my podcast on YouTube, this would be the part where I zoom in and give you the dramatic music and say, here's the kicker. She's being alienated from an art form, a genre of music, here's the kicker, that her people created. Yeah. We created country western music. Country western music was derived from old African folk tales, That's how we told stories, with a banjo. We created country western music. Ain't that something? How history repeats itself. They steal something from us, claim it as their own, and then tell us we have no claim to it. But I digress. She's at an impasse with country western music. She says she wants to pursue it, more vigorously, but she's getting all kinds of pushback, no support within the community. No shocker. Like, of course, we're not going to get embraced into that because the colonizers have colonized it and claimed it as their own. Like they now took jazz and the blues. Go to a jazz club and look at the rhythm section anywhere in America right now. It's going to be old white guys playing jazz. Go to a blues club right now in Dixieland. The whole rhythm section is going to be white. The only thing I'm kind of glad they took from us was like Dixieland and swing. Those are two music forms that I just cannot stand. I can't stand, swing and Dixieland. Oh yeah, I don't like Kentucky bluegrass either, but we created those as well. Can't stand to listen to them. Like I would literally listen to Tibetan tea bowls before I listen to, Kentucky bluegrass or marching band or I'm not saying our marching band. Now our marching band, with the A&M, we go how we come in. I'm talking about their marching band. Like I can't do that. Like I can't do Kentucky bluegrass. I can't do swing, and like most of the country. But like our people are slowly but surely reclaiming country western music. The originators of the art form, we're reclaiming it. She's helping us do this feat, by having the #1 country music single in the country right now. The only thing alarming about her ascent into country music, so aside from being ostracized from the colonizers that stole our art form, it seems like I might be jumping the gun, but from my perspective, from what I visually, ocularly see with my eyes, it seems like our sister, Miss Knowles Carter, has altered her appearance in hopes of gaining the audience that she's being ostracized from. Because she no longer looks like curvaceous, caramel complected perfection In the Destiny Child days, she had a song called Bootylicious. Beyonce ain't looking too bootylicious no more. She is her physical appearance is that of a white woman, a Caucasian, from the Caucasus Mountains. She got platinum blonde hair. Her skin tone looks like 3 shades lighter. It looks like, she looking opaque out here in these streets. She look opaque. So Beehive, don't come for me. I love Beyonce, but Beyonce looking opaque. She looking like a white woman. She done got blue eyes or gray. And I understand her mother, Tina, knows she's Creole. But Matthew, her father, he's dark as the darn ace of spades. And like I said, Destiny Child's Beyonce, Formation Beyonce. She, I Need a Soldier Beyonce. She was looking like Carmel perfection. Hourglass figure would be an understatement. Now she's just totally flat, like flat chested and flat behind. No hips, no thighs, no lips. Was it me? Didn't her lips seem more full before she ventured into the country western music genre? It seems like she's trying to make herself appear Caucasian to appeal to that audience. And she don't got to do that because the art form's already ours anyway. We originated the art form. And there's a lane for us in it. There's black country western singers, or use my word here on the Narrator podcast, original country western singers by the droves now. You can take your phone out, Google it, and see all the original men and women here in the United States. Go to Spotify and see all the brand new, the new face, or should have been the original face, making a resurgence in country western music. Because come on now, we've always had country western people within our community. We've had people like Chuck Berry, Johnny Mathis, the Neville Brothers, Etta James, who she played in the movie. And the list goes on. So it seems like, to me, from my perspective, that she's trying to pander to an audience that she don't need to pander to. Now, if she's doing something different, just, because she wants to, because it's her body and she wants to, hey, who am I? But if she's doing whatever cosmetic she's applying to her skin, she need to stop that. She need to, whatever cosmetic treatment she's applying to her skin, she need to stop that, because she out here looking like a female Sammy Sosa right now. I'm just saying, her rear end done got flat, her chest done got flat, platinum blonde. It's all her hair though, and ain't no extensions. It's her hair, but it's platinum blonde. Now, the rumor mill, the conspiracy theorists is, all these conspiracy. Well, let me back up. To think critically isn't a conspiracy. Thinking isn't a conspiracy. But like people who have been like closely following her career, like what they're saying is that like how she looks now, she's always looked like that. And the Destiny's Child, Beyonce, was a persona. That she's always been that complexion. And she's always looked like that. And she been like doing, tanning beds and, and all that to try to get our audience when she was doing the R&B thing. But she's always physically looked like that. That's what, the conspiracy theory is like, no, that's the real her. We're just now seeing the real her. So like, I don't know, like, what's that song by Eminem? Would a real queen bee please stand up? Please stand up. Like, this is confusing. The real queen bee please stand up. Is Ashton Kutcher, he trying to relaunch Punk? I feel like I'm getting punked right now. But anyway, that was just my only concern with the sister. Said all that to say, I don't think she has to physically alter her appearance to pander to the world of country music, country western music, because anything she does musically, she's going to just knock it out the park. Like, because she is who she is. She's just a dynamic performing artist. She's just, you know what I mean? Like the best the world we done seen in the last, we only going to get one Beyonce. There's never going to be another Beyonce. So she don't need to physically alter her appearance to gain, listeners for whatever type of music genre she wants to go into. That's all I was really trying to say with that. All right, so for that, now the main event, we're going to talk about our brother, and yeah, a whole lot of y'all are something else. He's still our brother. Papa Diddy Pop, Love, P. Diddy, Diddy, Puffy, Puff Daddy, all the whatever he wants to be calling himself, all the names. He's going to change his name like 10 times. He's still our brother, but we're acting like he's not our brother because our brother has been allegedly, and until he's found guilty of it, it's allegedly doing some mischievous, degenerate, nefarious dealings. But before I go further into, my synopsis on what's going on with our brother Puffy, I would like you all to listen to the wise, honorable brother minister Louis Farrakhan from an old speech that he did way in the early 80s. And I feel like this speaks volumes to what's going on with Puffy. It's like actually everybody in the entertainment industry right now. Because being an entertainer, everybody wants to be an entertainer. Everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody wants to be a singer. They want to be a dancer. You know, everybody wants to be in Hollywood, but nobody wants the Hollywood problems. That's a industry where, like, literally, one day they love you, and the next day they hate you. So I don't own the rights to this. I just want you all guys to hear this, and then I'm going to dive into my synopsis for our brother. And I might do a part 2. I'm not going to do a super deep dive into his home being raided and everything that's going on with this brother right now, but just listen to this. With an open mind, just listen to this.
See men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you're laughing and opening a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make mockery and not to understand, is to make the same mistake yourself. Did you hear me? When you see men fall, don't laugh. You see?
All right. He said that. This is over 40 years ago or 30 years ago, and it seems like we're remedial learning, like, because that's all we do within our community. We cannot wait to when our brothers and sisters fall so we can get on social media and benefit from their downfall financially, making money, get our 15 minutes of fame, going viral on the internet, poking fun at the entertainer. So that's what I'm seeing online, like a whole lot of memes, a whole lot of people making money who would, like, I ain't trying to talk bad, like virtual nobodies cashing in on a brother's misfortune. And he's still our brother. And that's, in my opinion, how we need to, address each other and treat each other. Like blood relatives. Because we all got blood relatives whose lifestyles and things they do, we don't approve of them. And here's something about me. I don't know how y'all do, but I'm not perfect. I don't try to be, but I got a code. I got a standard. I try to walk with dignity and virtue in how I was raised. When you love somebody, you correct them. Now, the way I correct people in my family, males, if I catch my little cousin, my brother, one of my brothers, a nephew, somebody in the family way, doing something creepy or weird, I'm going to go to him. I'm going to go to him with a loving heart and an open mind. I'm going to go to him and I'm going to appeal to him. I'm going to talk to him first. I'm going to talk to him as calm and rationally as I can possibly talk to him and try to see where they're coming from, why they did that creepy, weird thing, and try to offer some help to them. So I'm going to find out whatever is being said about him. I'm going to find out if it's actually true first. But if they're my brother, my flesh, and my relatives coming out of my bloodline, I'm going to already know it's true without having to hear it from nobody. I'm going to know that instinctively. And I'm going somewhere with this. And so when I go to them to correct them, you know, I'm going to get them alone, and I'm going to give them the help they need. Hey, with love though. I ain't trying to put them in the grave. I ain't trying to put them in the hospital, but I'm doing that weird shit. What won't you? With love. And then after I correct them, I'm going to love them and let them know, hey, I'm here for you if you want to talk about it. But what you're not going to do, you're not going to do that again. You're not going to do that again. And if you do that again. And that's the energy we would need to have about family, because the thing about families, like, you can talk about your relative, your loved one, like a DOG, but better not nobody in the street talk about your relative. But online, we not acting like we are relatives. We sitting up there letting everybody talk about this man, getting their kikis and their yeah-yeahs. People outside of our culture, we give them the open invite to insert their opinions and laugh at their expenses. People that do not look like us, people that ain't went through the same thing we done went through. So basically what I'm saying is white people, they're having the biggest laugh ever. The biggest laugh ever. This man's literally losing everything. Now, I'm not defending these allegations. I have to call them allegations because I haven't seen anybody actually have proof. What I have seen is a young lady whom he was in a relationship with, alleged some things, and then he gave her money for the things that she alleged. And that's a trend within our community. Because as soon as you make it to near billionaire status, somewhere, some person out the past, somebody you dealt with 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the line, they come out of nowhere and say, you hurt me, give me some money. Then when you give them that person that money, now 8 million more people coming out the woodwork. Yeah, he or she did this to me, and they did that to me. They did, and like that's what I'm seeing online in concern with Puffy, with Mr. Combs. Everybody got, the Diddy did this to me, and I seen him do this, and I seen him do that. Y'all seen that? And you didn't say nothing? You didn't approach your brother and try to correct your brother, get your brother some help? But you just want to sit up there and laugh at him? That's heartbreaking. Somebody out there living delusionally, thinking they can do all these things to men and women just because they got some money, and nobody sitting up there speaking up and correcting them. Now what I've been seeing, I just saw this today. A brother online just went viral, I think the other day, said he'd been in the house that got raided, said he was the next door neighbor, and he was seeing minors come in by the boatloads. So you sitting up there telling me you're the next door neighbor, you've been seeing him usher in minors by the boatload, but you don't say nothing until the feds raid a spot looking for stuff. To me, everybody online, you guys are the biggest pedophiles. You guys are the monsters. Way more like despicable than he is. Because you knew something, you didn't say it, you didn't want to say nothing until you can garner some money for the knowledge that you have, until something was in it for you financially. Now you want to be righteous. Oh, he's a creep bag. He's been a creep. Get him out of here. I'm a right is right, wrong is wrong type of brother. I don't care who you are in the world, what your social status is, how much money you got. If I see you doing something foul in front of me, I'm going to let you know. Your money don't impress me. Your status don't impress me. I'm going to talk to y'all. I want to talk to you, and you can use all your money and power to do whatever you want to me. You can even take me out of this physical plane if I offend you that badly from telling you the truth. But I'm not going to tell you, not going to not tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what it is, and I might tell you to kiss my you-know-what, but I bet you I don't bend, I don't buckle, I don't fold. I'm going to stand on it, whatever I say. I'm not going to bow down to you. I'm not going to let you have power over me because you got some money. And that's what all you guys online are doing. For years, y'all ain't said nothing because you letting him use his power and influence to scare you. But you know who came out first to, break his cycle of sickness? A woman. Cassie, she ain't even over 200 pounds, don't know no martial arts. She said, got enough courage to say, enough's enough, I'm telling you. But you big 6'4", 6'3", foot tall dudes in the industry, 200 pounds, got every type of firearm you can think of, trained in martial arts. You gonna sit up there and let that man play with your private parts and do you ain't gonna say nothing to the police is coming after him? Y'all sound weak. Y'all sound real weak right now. A woman gotta set the tone for it. Y'all sound like a whole bunch of cowards. All of y'all sitting up there, dragging them all up and down his timeline. Y'all sound like real cowardly right now. Because like all the people with all these memes, they wasn't saying nothing before all this happened. They wasn't saying nothing until like the popos came from them. Now, after the popos come from, now everybody want to get their licks in. Now I understand people with that type of money, they can make it hot for you. But you seen him have a whole sex trafficking ring way back in the early 90s. You didn't say nothing. You gonna wait to 24 when you was privy to him sex trafficking minors, sex trafficking little boys, sex trafficking little girls. You coward. You seen that? You didn't say nothing about it? Oh no, I mean, I just mind my business. I just mind my business. That wasn't my business. It wasn't my place to say. But now it's your place to say it though. It wasn't your place to say it in 91, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to now. But now, because a woman came forward, got a cash settlement, now you want to say something. When you seen them do it way back in 91. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? You judging now though. But now you're on your social media platform judging now. You didn't say nothing in from 91 all the way up into now. And you knew about it way back then. You knew about it in the 2000s. You seen it. You heard it. You knew. You had that knowledge. You knew about it. You're the big monster. You're the pervert because you must have liked what you saw. You must have wanted to join in with what you saw if you're just now saying something. You probably participated in what you claim you saw. You probably doing it too. So make no mistake, I'm not defending him in any capacity. I'm not condoning anything, any other allegations. It's foul, it's messed up. But I'm here to point out the hypocrisy of all these people coming forward, getting their licks in on a fallen man. Getting that sitting up there key and laughing. Like you had over a decade to say something, and you didn't. Now everybody online saying all these bad things about Puffy. Let's say some good things about Puffy. Let's say that he gave over $1 million to 2 HBCUs. Let's say he gave us not one, not two, not one, but not two, but 3 #1 shows, reality television shows that provided opportunity for people that the industry wasn't checking for. Making the band 1, 2, and 3. All them people blew up, got their money if they feel they got jerked. But who would know you if you never did, you know what I'm saying, making the band? Who was checking for your sound? Everybody, the original Bad Boy roster. Who taught you stage presence? Who taught you how to hold the microphone? And, who taught you drip and swag, how to wear your clothes? Oh, he didn't do that for you? A whole lot of y'all recording artists, rappers, and R&B singers, you kicking and stomping them when he's down. Who gave you a lifeline when none of these big-time record labels want to help you? When you didn't have the #1 album? When you couldn't get a beat to save your life? Huh? Who did that? But now all these allegations, he always been a low life. He had something to do with Biggie. He had something to do with Pac. But you knew about it and didn't say nothing or do nothing. Worse, you didn't do nothing. You say you a soldier in your rap lyrics, but you had that knowledge that he played a part of it and you ain't do nothing. All these years you ain't did nothing. But now you tough. Let's also talk about, before the allegations, that he had plans to resurrect BET from Viacom. He was going to buy back BET and resurrect all the original programming that BET had that, projected our people in a positive light. Programs that we can watch and be proud of. Like Teen Summit, like Video Soul, like 106, and like, because after Viacom just took over, it was like a string of stereotypes, a string of agendas. He was trying to bring back all that, throwback greatness for our people. He was getting it together. He was about to expand Revoked's reach. Now he done sold Revoked. So he was planning on a whole new roster of artists, young men and young women getting a chance at pursuing their dream in the industry. So again, I'm not defending him. If he did, got people addicted to drugs and, had people feeling like they want to unalive themselves. That's something I don't know. Only thing I know about this man is the persona on television and the internet. That's all I know. And on the visual side of it, I ain't talking bad about the brother. This is my opinion. Seeing him since the early 90s, I always thought back in the inner workings of my mind, something wasn't right with him. I still listened to his music. We still supported his music. As an entertainer, he's an entertainer. I don't take no entertainer seriously. I take entertainers as entertainment, like their brand. If a comedian I like their jokes that they tell. I don't know how they are as an actual person after they get off that stage. Are they a shitty individual? I don't know. I know when they tell that joke, I think that's funny. And I like their brand. They make me laugh. When that rapper raps, I like, this and that. I don't know how they carry and conduct themselves outside of, their project that I like. The singer, I think the male or the female singer, they sing beautifully, and I like their melody, and I like this song, and I like that song. I don't know what type of individual, what type of person they are outside of that, what they're doing that night, if they're a junkie, or if they're a sex pervert, or whatever. What their sexual preference is, I don't know, and I don't care. I just know it's entertainment. But that's really kind of all I want to say. I'm going to say this is just part one. There's more depth and dimensions going on that, with this situation that I want to unpack. But I'm going to hold that for another time because, I don't know what else. There's more stuff happening. The story's still unfolding. So it's a lot of stuff that I'm not privy to. And I don't want to just be talking like a lot of people on the internet are doing right now. Talking just to be talking, don't have nothing productive to bring to the conversation, nothing refreshing, whether it's the opposing view or, you're agreeing with the way he's being treated. It's not productive or, beneficial to anybody but you. So a couple more things I wanted to touch on in regards to that situation. It's giving me Bill Cosby vibes. Because I love Bill Cosby as an entertainer. And I want to try out this little sound effect. I just got a new little sound effect. Hey, Keyword, entertainer. His comedy, his presence as a black father on television, it's not no doubt in my mind that more than one of those women that alleged, the SA that he was convicted of was telling the truth. I believe it was more than one that he essayed. However, we live in America and you're supposed to do what the law say do. So the law says you must provide the bare minimum, something called the preponderance of evidence. You got to produce evidence before you convict somebody of a crime, before you arrest somebody of a crime, before you raid somebody's house, before you incarcerate somebody, before you take away somebody's children. They done took away this man's children. They done raided up in his house. They ain't read him his rights, nothing. Ain't produced no warrant. Didn't even flash the warrant. Just ran up in there into his house like they did Michael Jackson. Like they did Bill Cosby. How come every time within our community you become a billionaire, close to a billionaire, and then powers that be come to get you out the way, strip away everything that you built? Since everybody's so smart, tell me that. Since everybody got the answers, tell me that. Why did they do that to our people within our community? No evidence, but say they did something and lock them up, throw away the key, empty out all their savings like they attempted to try to do with Russell Simmons. But yet, here's something that just happened. While all this stuff is happening with Mr. Combs. Nickelodeon, a child network, they just did a documentary on Nickelodeon called Quiet on the Set. And in this documentary, former Nickelodeon child actors compiled allegations against a prominent producer of most of the children's programming on Nickelodeon, a man by the name of Dan Schneider. So how much you want to bet Mr. Schneider is not going to have police running up in his crib without no search warrants, draining his bank account, muting all the shows that he produced on Nickelodeon, stripping them of his title, taking away his royalties? They're not going to do none of that. But all these impressionable youth, this guy's working around children. And now all these children that he's worked around that are now adults are mentally scarred from him, allegedly, because he hasn't been tried guilty. They giving accounts, from what this guy did to them. But, they told their story. Ain't nothing happened to them. All Diddy's victims then told their story. And, he's losing everything. Make that make sense. How come when a brother or a sister, because sisters get accused of it too, with the essays and the FOs and all that, they get accused of the same thing brothers do. But how come when the allegation is made from somebody within our community, they lose everything? They lose all their money, their livelihood, everything. They get stripped of everything. But when people in, Caucasian community, European community, even Asian and Spanish community, when they get convicted of something foul, nothing happens. They go back, they might go to jail, but when they get out of jail, they go right back to the grind, and it's water under the bridge and nobody speaks about it ever again. But whereas our community, the insults never stop coming. Everybody that remotely just, given a different perspective gets attacked. Slim Thug just got attacked online from giving a different perspective. Like I'm giving a different perspective. I don't know that man. I ain't never met him. He just said it's interesting. He became a billionaire and now they're taking everything from him, just like I'm saying. You know what I mean? But, the internet comes for you. Quit making excuses for him. He's a rapist. He's a sodomist. He's a this. He's a that. And nobody got no proof. Nobody got no receipts. All these people got allegations. Nobody's bringing up receipts. If people do got receipts, I retract my statement right now. But all the people kicking all the dirt and taking all these cheap shots don't got no receipts. But they sitting up there doing the white man's job for them, which is to tear us down and reduce us to nothing. We're doing that to each other. And so, like I said, that's just my spiel on what's happening with Diddy. I might do a part 2, but because it's got some complex depth layers, but I just wanted to unpack it, how it relates to all of us. It's the teachable moment is we need to, treat each other like family, whether regardless. If you agree with whatever your relatives into, you can have family disagreements. You don't have to agree or condone in what your brother or sister's doing. You don't have to agree with their actions. You don't have to condone what they're doing. If they're doing something foul, they foul. But if their foulness troubles you to the point where you can't sleep, to the point where you feel you got to say something to that brother or sister directly. Don't get on social media trying to correct them. Get close up and personal. Say whatever you got to say about them. Say your piece and then move on. And if you're feeling something stronger in your heart than other than just saying something, then do something. But don't get on social media and drag them up and down social media and stomping on them on social media like that. That ain't cool, bro. That's real, in my opinion, that's real cowardly. That's real cowardly. You want to sit up there and kick them when they're down. Don't kick them when they're down. Fight them on equal stance. Fight them on equal stance. Don't wait till somebody collapses and falls and then stomp on them. That's a coward. That's a whole coward. You want to kick somebody already down on the ground. He already down. Fight them at their strongest. In whatever way you feel. I'm not advocating violence, but whatever way you feel, say it to that person's face directly. Get in their inbox, say it to them directly. The hip hop slang is pull up on them. But don't get on social media airing out dirty laundry and, you know what I mean? Just doing all this cowardly back and forth. But, that's my spill on it. That'll do it for this episode of the Narrative Podcast. I'm back, y'all. Halsey Allen is back. The Narrative Podcast is back. Join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Remember to download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. So like I said, in closing, I'm going to kind of brief you about my weekend format for the Narrative Podcast. The weekend format, I got a couple more sections than I do from my weekday format. For those unfamiliar with the Narrative Podcast, on my weekend format, I got a section where I'm promoting black-owned businesses. I start that. That's my beginning section. That's what I start out with. That's how it's different than this. And then I got a spotlight section where I'm saluting somebody within our community doing something positive, giving them their roses while they're here for doing something positive. And then I got a health and wellness section. And then I got a quote of the day. That's the only thing that differs from the format from my weekday. So I'm over 300 episodes. You can listen for yourself to see how my weekday differs from my weekend episodes. But, whatever format, it's fire. Remember to download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. There's thousands of podcasts titled the Narrative Podcast, but the only one that matters is the one hosted by me, Halsey Allen, the Narrative Podcast. So remember to download the episode, download my podcast, the Narrative Podcast. You can like them, also share, and comment on the Narrative Podcast. I got a comment section on all of them. When I share it back on social media, there's a little box where you can write something in it. You can do that. I'm working on getting me a email address just specifically for the Narrative Podcast. I did have one. It was linked to a domain that I'm no longer using. It was linked to my WordPress. I let that go because I'm like, why am I paying for that when I'm, when there's like free emails, It was a free email that came with that domain service, but, if I just want people to contact me directly, there's like free ones out there. So just keep listening. I'm going to come up with a new email address so you can get in touch personally with me. I'm working on that. I should have my new email address this weekend. The Passion Web Mail, that's gone. So yeah, like I said, I broadcast 2 times during the week, once during the weekday, once during the weekend. In order to never miss a weekday episode of the Narrative Podcast, just remember to follow me on YouTube. I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube. That's my viewer channel. Hit that subscription button and your notification all so you never miss an episode of the Narrative Podcast. Then also on X, formerly known as Twitter, I'm Halsey Allen on that. I stay good at Halsey on Twitter. Halsey Allen on YouTube. Follow me on either one of those two platforms, and you will never miss a episode of the Narrator Podcast, because this platform that I'm on, after I'm done broadcasting, it automatically uploads to YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. So do that, and you'll always be in the loop. You'll always get a fresh episode of the Narrator Podcast, be the first to know. Also, I have written a book titled The Black Card. The Black Card is a 30-page book of poetry. It's currently featured on poetizer.com. So go to poetizer.com. That's the only medium that it's available on currently. Was about to say. The Black Card is a 30-page book of poetry. Basically, it's an all-comprehensive look at who we are as a people. All our experiences, all the nuances about our people and our culture, everything we experience as a people. It'll make a great coffee table read, a good travel book. It's compact and light. You will love it. It's witty and inventive and creative. Basically, it's a survival guide. So, go to poetizer.com and pick your copy up of the Black Card to get your Black Card revoked. Available on poetizer.com. They have a virtual online bookstore. It's available in the virtual online bookstore on poetizer.com. Lastly, I write poetry. I have a personal poetry blog on blogger.com titled hallziespoetrycorner. What that is, it's just a collection of my poetry. It's just like a collection of poetry that I spontaneously write in the moment, and then post into that blog. How eloquently they're put together. You would think that, I thought about a title and I drafted it before posting it, but it's legit just me typing the first thing that comes into my mind. That is a talent. That's my talent. It's real witty, real creative. You will love it. You're definitely guaranteed to find a piece that you can personally relate to. The thing about that poetry blog is it's you're guaranteed to find some piece that speaks directly to you, whatever situation that you're going through. You're guaranteed to find something that you can relate to. That's what makes that poetry blog so unique, because it's so versatile. So check that out. It's on blogger.com at www.mrhalziesblogs.com, and the name of my personal poetry blog is called Halsey's Poetry Corner. And the way you can support that is by either sharing the link, www.mrhalziesblogs.com, or a poem featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner across all platforms. So whatever platform that you're active on, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, etc., share a poem or the link to Halsey's Poetry Corner on all platforms. That's it and that's all. Thank you all for listening. Join me this weekend for another episode of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. Remember to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time, I'm inviting you to help me change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time on my end as a narrator, you can help me change the narrative by changing the narrative one social media post at a time on your end. Until the next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrator Podcast, signing off, and it's like that.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.